On May 23, 2021, a routine cable car ride in the picturesque Italian Alps turned into a harrowing tragedy that captured the world's attention. As the car ascended Mount Mottarone overlooking Lake Maggiore, a catastrophic failure would soon lead to one of the most heart-wrenching disasters in recent memory, leaving one sole survivor amid the devastation. Keep watching to the very end to fully grasp the sequence of events and the factors that led to this devastating day. Discover the pivotal moments and decisions that changed lives forever and the ongoing impact on the sole survivor. On a picturesque Sunday in May, a diverse group of passengers boarded the Stresa-Mottarone cable car, each seeking a serene escape above the stunning landscapes of northern Italy. Among them was the Biran family, including young parents Amit, 30, and Tal, 26, who had recently returned from Israel to Pavia, where Amit was studying medical research at the university. Accompanying them were their children, Aitan, a bright-eyed 5-year-old, and his younger brother Tom, aged 2, as well as Tal's grandparents, Itchak and Barbara Cohen, aged 82 and 70 respectively. This family outing was meant to be a joyful climb to the scenic heights of Mottarone, overlooking the shimmering waters of Lake Maggiore. Also on board were Alessandro Merlo, 29, and his fiancée Silvia Malnati, 27, a couple who had been engaged for 10 years. Their long-awaited plans to marry had just begun to materialize, spurred on by Silvia's recent graduation and a new job at perfumery in Milan. This trip was to be a celebration of their future together, a moment of tranquility and joy before their upcoming wedding. Joining these families were two other couples, Serena Cosentino, 27, a dedicated student who had recently moved to Verbania on a research grant, and her boyfriend, Mohammedreza Shahai-Savandi, 23, also a student. Their relationship stretched between cities and found them seizing a rare romantic weekend together, away from the hustle of academic life. And also husband and wife Angelo Vio Gasparo, 45, and Roberta Pistolato, who were celebrating her 40th birthday on the day of the accident. Roberta, who had also recently finished studying medicine and worked in the city of Piacenza, had sent a text to her sister moments before they got into the cable car saying, "We are going up to the cable car." Lastly, the cable car also carried Vittorio Zorloni, 54, his fiancée Elisabetta Personini, 38, and their 5-year-old son Mattia. The family was on the cusp of celebrating their own wedding, scheduled for the following month, turning this ride into a prelude to their new chapter as a married couple. These individuals, each at different but significant stages of their lives, were united by a shared anticipation of the beauty and peace offered by the journey to Mottarone's summit. The cable car ride, operating since 1970 and recently reopened after pandemic restrictions, was a popular attraction not just for its breathtaking views, but also for its promise of a few moments of escape from their everyday lives. As the cable car ascended, the passengers inside were oblivious to the technical malfunctions that had been plaguing the system since its recent reopening. Unbeknownst to them, this trip would end tragically, killing 14 out of 15 passengers. Before delving into the harrowing events of the day, it's crucial to understand the underlying issues that led to this catastrophe, particularly focusing on the history and malfunctioning of the cable car's braking system. The Mottarone cable car has been a reliable mode of transportation for over 50 years, offering visitors unparalleled views of the Italian Alps and Lake Maggiore. The system operated on a dual cable arrangement, one cable for pulling the car up the mountain, and a secondary support cable that functioned as a safety measure. Integral to this system was the emergency brake, designed to engage automatically in case of a primary cable failure, preventing the car from a dangerous reverse descent. However, after the cable car service resumed in April 2021, following a prolonged shutdown due to the pandemic restrictions, problems began to surface. Reports indicated that the emergency braking system had been experiencing sporadic malfunctions. Instead of smoothly conducting its safety role, the brake had begun engaging unexpectedly, causing abrupt stops mid-journey. This was not only alarming but also inconvenient, disrupting service and potentially deterring tourists, crucial for the local economy after the lockdown. Maintenance checks were supposedly conducted regularly, with the last comprehensive review completed in 2017 and more routine inspections occurring even after the service had resumed. However, the effectiveness and thoroughness of these inspections are now under question. The lead cable, responsible for hauling the cabin uphill, had shown signs of wear and tear and had not been replaced in recent years. A critical oversight given the cable's constant exposure to the elements and the mechanical stresses of operation. In the weeks leading up to the disaster, the technicians responsible for maintaining the cable car faced a dilemma. The frequent malfunctions of the emergency brake presented them with a choice: undertake a significant repair to fix the underlying issue or find a quick fix to keep the service running. Choosing the latter, they employed a dangerous and ultimately catastrophic method. A fork-shaped clamp was used to override the emergency brake system manually. This temporary solution was meant to prevent the break from engaging unexpectedly, but also disabled this critical safety feature entirely. This decision, driven by the pressure to maintain continuous operation during the lucrative summer season, tragically overlooked the safety of passengers. The clamp was in place on the fateful day when the primary cable snapped. Without the emergency brake to halt its backward slide, a cable car was left unrestrained, leading to the devastating plunge. This background sets the stage for the tragic events that unfolded on that serene Sunday, transforming a routine sightseeing trip into one of the most deadly cable car accidents in Italy's recent history. The ride from the Lido di Stresa to the summit involved changing cars at the village of Alpino, ascending a total of nearly 4,500 feet. The journey usually lasted about 20 minutes. Just after 12:30 p.m., as the car neared the summit station, disaster struck. The haulage cable, worn and rusted internally from years of neglect, suddenly snapped. Eyewitnesses reported a loud hissing sound, followed by the car careening backward down the slope, its cable whipping through the air. The car collided with the pylon at high speed before plunging over 180 feet down the steep mountainside, coming to a devastating halt against the spruce trees lining the slope. Emergency services faced a challenging rescue operation due to the steep wooded terrain. When they arrived at the scene, the devastation was apparent. The wreckage was strewn with debris and 13 lifeless bodies were discovered around the crash site. Amid the carnage, 2 young children were found gravely injured but alive, Mattia and Aitan, both aged 5. They were swiftly airlifted to a pediatric hospital in Turin, where tragically, Mattia later succumbed to injuries. The sole survivor, 5-year-old Peleg-Biran. His survival was nothing short of miraculous. Protected in the arms of his father Amit, who used his body to shield his son from the impact, Aitan was the only member of his family to survive. His parents, his 2-year-old brother, and great-grandparents on his mother's side were among the 14 fatalities. Aitan sustained multiple injuries, including severe trauma and broken bones. Unconscious and in critical condition, he was airlifted to a hospital in Turin, where he was placed in intensive care. Doctors urgently worked on him, with the next 48 hours deemed crucial for assessing the extent of his brain injuries and potential recovery. As news of the accident spread, Aitan's aunt, Aya Biranurko, who lived in Italy, was informed about the tragedy. She rushed to the hospital to be by her nephew's side, grappling with the sudden responsibility of caring for Aitan in the wake of her family's devastation. The hospital became a grim gathering place for the relatives, all trying to process the immense loss while clinging to hope for Aitan's recovery. The situation took an unexpected turn when a custody dispute emerged between Aitan's maternal and paternal families. Aitan's paternal grandfather, Shmulik Peleg, deeply affected by the loss of his son and other family members, wanted to bring Aitan back to Israel. However, Aitan's auntie wanted him to stay in Italy with her. This led to a complex legal and emotional battle over where and with whom Aitan should live. Months after the accident, in a move that shocked both the family and the broader public, Shmulik Peleg took Aitan from his aunt's home in Italy without legal permission and flew him to Israel. This act was deemed a kidnapping by Italian authorities, and an international legal struggle ensued to return Aitan to Italy. The Italian courts eventually ruled that Aitan should be returned to his aunt Aya, considering her proximity and the stable home environment she could provide in Italy, where Aitan had been raised. Aitan's return to Italy was more than just coming back to a place he knew. It was also about finding some normality in a life that had changed forever. Let's explore what unfolded in the aftermath of the Stresa-Mottarone cable car disaster. The investigation revealed that critical safety breaches directly contributed to the tragic incident. The emergency brake system had been deliberately disabled to avoid operational interruptions despite frequent malfunctions. Moreover, the main haulage cable, severely compromised by rust and wear and tear, had not been properly maintained, exacerbating the risk of failure. Earlier in the video, I already went through the maintenance history. These findings have since prompted stricter safety regulations and more rigorous maintenance protocols for cable car operations worldwide, ensuring such neglect does not endanger lives again. Legal action was taken against those responsible for the maintenance and operation of the cable car. Several employees, including the owner, the head of maintenance, and the technician who disabled the brake system, were arrested and charged with manslaughter. The trials and legal proceedings concentrated on determining their responsibility and negligence. Families of the victims received compensation, and Aitan received over €3 million. If you like true event stories, then I know you will enjoy the true stories on the end screen, or choose what you like to see on my channel. Until next time, bye for now.